How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the Snap Academy. I'm Muse, and today we are talking about your first archetype in Marvel Snap, and that is Zoo, and how to build it. So what is Zoo? Zoo is a playstyle where you flood the board with a lot of small creatures, characters, cards, whatever you want to call them. In Marvel Snap, it's all based around the card Kazaar, which is why we call it Kazoo. He is a 4/4 ongoing. Your 1-cost cards have +1 power. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have a lane full of 1-drops, it ends up being +4 power for that lane. Pretty simple, right? We can also increase that with some of our support cards as well. Starting with Onslaught, 6/7 ongoing, double your other ongoing effects here. Essentially, turning your Kazaar into a +2 for every lane. So on that one lane, you're not getting +4, now you're getting +8 on top of that lane, which is another card in itself. Plus, you can also add Blue Marvel. So Blue Marvel, he's ongoing. Your other cards have +1 power here. So you can drop Kazaar, Blue Marvel, then Onslaught in a lane, giving all of your 1-drop cards in other lanes +4 power for a total power of +16 per card that you drop there. That is a lot of power. All 3 of these cards are in your Recruit Season or Series 1, making this the absolute first archetype you can viably play. So in Pool 1, what are the cards you can play? Honestly, you can look at any 1-drop in the game and be viable. Nightcrawler, 1/2, you can move this card once, he's a 1-drop. Squirrel Girl, 1/2, on reveal, add a 1-power squirrel to each other location. She herself is 1, and then you're adding another body to each other location, essentially zooing out with squirrels onto all the locations. As well as Ant-Man, he is a 1-drop, 1/1, but ongoing, if your side of this location is full, he gets +1 power. All 3 of these are staples in just about every single Zoo deck, going from Pool 1 all the way to Infinite. Nightcrawler himself gives you that extra value of being able to move. All cards that let you move, let you kind of transition into what you're doing. Maybe you need to get into that location that you can't get into, like that Sanctum Sanctorum, or a location that makes you destroy a card. Nightcrawler can move in there, as well as Squirrel Girl. When you play Squirrel Girl, the on reveal does not count as a play in a location, so the squirrels themselves can land on top without worrying about the condition of the location. With Ant-Man, we're going to be filling lanes. That is the goal of this deck. He's always going to become a 1/5 base and then get the buff from Kazaar as well as Blue Marvel, increasing his power by at least 2 if you don't have an Onslaught on top of him as well. As you're building into the later pools, Pool 2, Pool 3, and beyond, most of these cards are actually in Pool 3. As you continue down the collection path, you're going to be unlocking a few more cards that help out the Zoo archetype, starting with Dazzler. So Dazzler, ongoing, 2/2, +2 power for each location that's full on your side. Just like Ant-Man, we're looking to fill all of our locations as much as possible. We're zooing out. That's what we're doing. We're filling our locations with small, cheap bodies, getting as much as we can, and then buffing those up with our main cards, Kazaar, Blue Marvel. Ultron is another line for if you don't pull your Onslaught to buff up all of your other cards more. So Ultron is a 6/8 on reveal, deploy 4 2-power drones to each other location. Ultron himself is going to fill all the other locations with 1-cost, 2-power Ultron drones. So the line with that would be Dazzler down on a lane, followed by any other play. Same lane as Dazzler, you play Kazaar, Blue Marvel, finish with Ultron, and then you have Ultron bots in all the other lanes. Dazzler gets her boost, and all of the Ultron bots are 4 power, with a total of 16 power in each lane, not including anything else you may have played, like an Ant-Man in a lane giving it that boost, or anything else. More cards to look for as you're going down Pool 3. The first one you want to add is Shanna. She is a 3/4 on reveal. Add a random 1-cost card to each location. We're zooing out. We're filling our board even wider. We want to get as many cards down as we possibly can, and Shanna for 3 energy does a great job of filling up all of the locations. They are all random, so you could get an Ebony Maw, which is a 1/7, but be unable to play into that lane continually. But you can also get another Nightcrawler, possibly even another Squirrel Girl, just filling up even more, which can lead to some precarious situations. But Shanna really does a great job of filling out the board so that we can proc off our Dazzler, proc off our Ant-Man, and then give everything that +1, +2 power. The other 2 cards you want to look for are Martyr and Titania, as they are big bodies. So Martyr, she's a 1/5. At the end of the game, you move to a location that loses you the game if possible. Our whole goal of this deck is to make that impossible. We're going to fill our entire board so Martyr cannot move. And then Titania, also a 1/5. After any card is played here, this card switches sides. This card is a little more dangerous if we don't have priority, as it can move to the other side. The line that I like to play with these cards is, but play any of our 1-drop drops, 2 drops, play Shanna, followed by Kazaar, followed by Blue Marvel, and then drop any other 1-cost cards we may have. At this point, we probably don't have priority, so that Titania play is probably okay, but the Martyr for sure. We've zooed out, we filled up all of our locations, everything's getting our boost, Dazzler's getting buffed, Ant-Man's getting buffed, Martyr's not going to move, we're not going to lose, and then Titania, play it last, that way she doesn't hop over. Again, this only works if you do not have priority. If you go first, there is a chance that Titania jumps over, possibly losing you that lane. Next up, what hurts us? The card that you're going to run into all the time is going to be Killmonger. He's a 3/3. On reveal, you lose, period. If you go into the last turn and you're playing a destroy deck, if you're playing a Silver Surfer deck, in the early collection levels, you're not going to be seeing any Silver Surfer decks, but you will later in the game. But you will be seeing destroy. Killmonger is a staple in most destroy decks, so he is a 3/1. On reveal, destroy all 1-cost cards. If you go into the last turn and you have priority and you're going first and you're playing a destroy deck, chances are they're saving their Killmonger for you and they're going to wipe your entire board. This is when you want to retreat. If you go in, you're playing a destroy deck, do not snap. If you're going to the last turn, you don't have priority, you're going second, you're probably safe. Any 1-drop cards you have that are already on the board will probably get destroyed. But if you use an Ultron and you have all of your other cards ready, like your Kazaar, your Blue Marvel, you're going to be okay because you're going to use the Ultron to fill up all of the lanes. If on turn 6 you do have priority, you're playing a destroy deck, you need to retreat 100%. They have a Killmonger. Always assume that your opponent has the card needed to defeat you. Just always assume that. A lot of folks try to hope. Don't ever hope. 100% of the time, your opponent has everything they need to win. Another card to look out for is Enchantress. She is a 4/5. On reveal, remove the abilities from all ongoing cards here. So Enchantress herself is going to remove the abilities of Kazaar as well as Blue Marvel and that Onslaught turn 6. If you see a lot of Enchantress when you're playing, spread them up. You don't need to be playing Onslaught on top of Blue Marvel on top of Kazaar every time. Yes, that is your greatest strength, but if you see a lot of Enchantress, think about moving everybody about. Have Kazaar on a lane, have Blue Marvel on a lane, and then choose your Onslaught on turn 6, whichever one you think might be better or you need that extra power boost. The way to protect yourself though, because we have tech cards in Marvel Snap, are going to be Cosmo, the good boy. I don't care what you say, all dogs are boys. 3/3, ongoing. On reveal abilities won't happen here. That way you can block that Enchantress, block that Killmonger. You're safe, as well as armor. This is only going to protect the one lane, but armor's a 2/3. Ongoing cards here cannot be destroyed. Protect all of your 1-drop cards from the Killmonger. Pretty safe. You will be seeing Killmonger a lot more in the lower CL levels as opposed to when you get into Pool 3. The locations which are really going to help you a lot are going to be Black Vortex, Hell's Kitchen, Central Park, Savage Land, Elysium, and Onslaught Citadel. Onslaught Citadel is going to be helping you the most as ongoing effects here are doubled. Even if you have your Onslaught in your hand, win outright just by playing your Kazaar and your Blue Marvel on top of the Onslaught Citadel. But your opponent's going to know that, and they may have an Enchantress ready, so play your Cosmo on top of that lane as well to protect your ongoing cards. Black Vortex, we have a lot of 1-drop cards, so we don't really mind taking one of those and turning them into a 6-cost card. Yes, it's random, but chances are you're going to get 10 power out of it. Central Park, it actually in this deck hurts our opponent but helps us. Those squirrels, they are 1 cost. We're getting that extra bonus power. Elysium, this is underrated as a location as you can actually save a lot of your 1-drop cards until turn 6, not exactly showing where all of your power is. You get out all of your tech cards and your big bonus cards early, and then you can wait. You can hold on to your Squirrel. You can hold on to that Ant-Man. You can hold on to that Nightcrawler so they don't know where all the power is going. Hell's Kitchen just draws us a card, period. Draws us a card. Same thing with the Savage Land. We get those 2 Raptors on each location. Hey, we're giving them bonuses. On the flip side of that, the locations which hurt us. The Space Throne, Deep Space, Isle of Silence, Crimson Cosmos, Hellfire Club, Brooklyn Bridge. The Space Throne only gives us 1 card. Our goal is to go wide, a lot of cards. This hurts a little bit. Dazzler still gets her proc off if you put 1 card in there. Sometimes you might put an Ultron in there, but you've really got to think about what you're doing. Deep Space can go either way. Usually what hurts the most is when it reveals on turn 3 and you put your Ant-Man there, you put your Nightcrawler there, so they don't get those bonuses. is they can't move. Isle of Silence, kind of the same idea. You cannot play your Kazaar, you cannot play your Blue Marvel on top of Isle of Silence, kind of limiting where you can play everything. Crimson Cosmos, cards that cost 1, 2, or 3 can't be played here. That's the majority of your deck. Most of the time, if I see Crimson Cosmos, I just immediately retreat, re-roll, try again. Hellfire Club, not as punishing. That's going to be your lane for Kazaar, for your Blue Marvel, for all of your buff cards, but it hurts a little bit in Brooklyn Bridge. You can't play cards here 2 in a row. This hurts most decks, but because we're wanting to play so many cards in a specific way, you really have to think about how you're playing around the Brooklyn Bridge. As you progress into Series 4 and 5, there are 3 cards to look for. So that's only 18,000 tokens to really fill out your Zoo deck if it's a deck that you really want to keep playing. Starting with Marvel Boy. Marvel Boy is a 3/1. After each turn, give 3 of your 1-cost cards plus 1 power. This includes the turn you drop him down, adding 12 power across the rest of the game. So Kazaar, adding 4 power to each lane, say 2 other lanes, that's 8 power plus another 12 power. You're getting a lot of power just with all of these little cards. Mockingbird, she's a 6/9, costs 1 less for each of your cards in play that didn't start in your deck. So this includes all the cards from Shayna as well as your Squirrel Girl. It's a total of 5 cards, so you can drop her for 1 energy on the last turn, giving that big explosive play. And as you kind of keep building out your Zoo deck, I would take out Onslaught to kind of do one of these build your own 6-drop cards, finishing with Gilgamesh. He is a 5/9 on reveal, plus 1 power for each of your other cards in play with increased power. Chances are all of your cards are going to have increased power in some way, making him a big, sometimes 20 power play. And you can play Mockingbird as well as Gilgamesh on the last turn, making that huge power play, kind of using up that entire Zoo to have these big bad drops with possibly a 30 power swing. Your opponent might think they've got you based off of the math, what you could add, but these are also great finishing cards. Mockingbird, you're never going to play for 6 energy, and then Gilgamesh is going to be well above that 20 power threshold with all of your other cards getting that bonus from Kazaar, from Blue Marvel, from Marvel Boy. Something's going to be getting that buff throughout the game. So overall, Zoo is the first archetype you're going to play, but that doesn't mean it's the worst. It does still have a lot of potential in the high collection level play as well as infinite. Thanks for watching. If you found this guide helpful and want to learn more about Marvel Snap, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got a whole series of how-to guides, deck highlights, and tips for beginners to help level up their game. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video and let me know down in the comments what your favorite archetype is. I'm Muse, happy snapping. See you in the next one.